Welcome back, everyone. We're gonna be doing a little sawmill today. So here's the current state of the log pile, and I figure as far as low-hanging fruit goes, we got this guy right here is sitting at the front of the pile. We might as well cut that one first today and kind of get out of the way. So this log here, I did pick up for workbench kits, but it is a little bit too small in diameter, and we've got a triple crotch thing going on up here. So I'm just going to cut it into slabs. I think it's going to be a better use for it. Interestingly, this one's got all kinds of these little lumps on here on the surface, you can see, and that is an indicator of quilt figure. So we should have some quilt figure. I mean, I see these lumps like literally everywhere all over this thing. So it should be pretty well quilted, and we got 3 crotches or 3 limbs and a triple crotch thing to deal with too. So we'll get it over to the saw and figure out how we're going to cut this thing. This was a chipper log that I got from Matt Collins, and I unloaded it from my trailer like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I don't know, I didn't have the barn back then. And I got this log and a second log, and I pulled them both off the trailer with the telehandler at the same time. It's pretty cool. I have to go a little higher. More height. All right, let's try this. Actually, here it goes. See how that sits. I don't know, it might be like too high. Or maybe it's fine. I'm trying to kind of saw with these 2 limbs as sort of like the main crotch area. So this is sort of like something we just don't consider as we're trying to level it. And I think we got way too much height in here to take out the fact that we got a taper between here and here. Yeah, I'm gonna put it down a little more, I think. Just a little high. Maybe this. That might be high still too. I think I'll just drop it down into that, whatever that is, 5x5, and see how that looks. How many times can we pick up and put down a log? Go, go, telehandler. I kick things up and I put them down. And it rolls. Nope. Nope. Come back to me. Come back. Okay, oh my goodness. I made a mess of this already. Yeah, I got the fork stuck. I never said I could make this look easy. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of back to where it needs to be. I think that's kind of where I want it to be. I don't really like how this is rolling off of this bunk, but seems like it's fine. So let's make a cut somewhere in here and see what we got. All right, let's take a quick look and see how this is kind of looking. And then we have a little bit of things to take care of. Well, this is beautiful. This has definitely been sitting for long enough. There is a lot of nice color, and we got some nice spalting here as we're on the outside of the log. A little bitty burls here. I mean, look at this. I got that diagonal growth of the tree as it kind of grew up in a twist. So the grain runs diagonally across the face, which is always a cool feature. This is some beautiful spalting. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. All right, so I think it's going to be time for my yearly blade change. So this blade is, yeah, it's not doing so hot. And this log is like a weird conundrum of wood. We've got the super dry outside exterior and like a crazy wet core. So at least here you can see where, as the blade hit this super dry area, it went up and then it found a high, it kind of got to its highest point of its travel and then started coming back down and then kind of righted itself out again. But then we got another dive down here as well. So it's time to change this thing, and I'll show you the blade on there right now in a second, and we'll see how many teeth is missing. And it's still, I mean, it was cutting fine until this was a little bit more of a challenge for it than the last thing I cut, which was some super wide walnut. So I've shown before that I use these carbide blades, so you can see that little tiny piece of carbide's been brazed onto the tooth there. And if we jog forward in the blade a while, you can start seeing how this tooth is basically almost missing. There's a tiny little bit of carbide still there. This one's completely missing. This one's got almost, that's not actually cutting anything. It's just there. And as you keep going, you can see that there's more and more teeth missing kind of all over the place. And that's really, I found what happens with these blades is they don't actually get dull. You just end up knocking all the carbide teeth off over time. And I believe this blade I put on last June, and it is the last week of July right now. So just a little over a year on this blade. And for cost on these things, these are $160. And they last, at least at this point, as long as probably at least 10 of the normal blades. And you don't have the downtime of changing blades. And these things cut nice and flat, even if you cut through something like some steel or something. So this whole section here doesn't really have any teeth. Let's see how far we can go before we find a full tooth. I haven't even jogged enough out of here yet. That's a half a tooth. So like that, at least all of that, there's nothing cutting there. The saw is just dragging all these teeth through. Yeah, they're not doing anything. I can't even cut myself on them. There's no tooth there. That's just a tooth holder that's sitting there. So we're gonna put a new blade on here. I have one more carbide blade. I ordered a bunch of them, I think in 2020. And I have one more of those, but I used to use these bimetal blades, and I have 4 more of them that are still new and perfect. So I think today I'm just gonna put this bimetal blade on just to use it up mostly and get rid of it, because it's not doing a whole lot for me sitting out there in my barn. I forget, I think those ones are like $100. I think is what they were, or $80 or something like that. So I might as well get some use out of them. It just won't go for as long as one of the carbide ones. Take the tension out of here. Okay. See if I can still do this. I don't do this as often now with these carbide blades. Like once or twice a year I coil a blade. Apparently I still got it though. Alright, so that one's gonna go in the recycling pile. Here's the new one. Teeth are facing the right way. That's good. Okay. Okay, so we got blade on there. I think I'm gonna roll the log over now because it's not really sitting on there all that stable. It was also kind of rocking on that first cut. So give it the old roll over and then some more slicey slice. Okay, so I think the big difference I just noticed is I kind of forgot how much like faster those bi-mill blades cut. The carbide like lasts for a long time. It doesn't cut as efficiently as that. This thing was flying through there. But anyway, these first two pieces here have like a lot of lumps and a lot of weird stuff going on. So we figured there'd be some interesting figure in here. So we cut some small pieces here just to kind of get an idea of. Yeah, there's some quilt in there. Hopefully that shows up. There's a little bit of crotch there towards the bottom, opposite of my thumb. And then that's all this kind of quilt figure through the middle there. Set this one over here. This will be the same as that. That one you can really see it all through here. All quilted. Down here for you. And then up here, we're actually getting into some of the crotch figure already. So this is all, I don't know what you want to call these, like little needle figures? Little needle line figure things? You get all kinds of fun quilt figure, and especially up through here. You got a big quilt lump right there. So this one here is kind of like around 20 if you were to kind of square it up a little bit. 20 by 14, so that would be like the size of a electric body guitar blank. So that could be that, or it could be whatever you want. It's wood. Cut it into whatever you want. That's the cool thing. Whatever you want, it can be. 2 1/4. 2 turns. 1, 2. That might have been too much. 1/8. Half a turn. Okay. Okay, let's see what the butt looks like. Got a lot of compression figure in this thing. And a little burl. Just a little bit of burl and then phew, wide bands of compression. Kabam! What is this one doing here? A little bit interesting things there. A little bit of figure. And down here, got bar conclusion. Holy crap. It didn't look like much until the water hit it. And then this just like came alive. Look at all the craziness through here. All like the quilt and curl up through here. And then there's even more giant quilt lumps here. And that's all. I couldn't even see that from the angle I was at before. This is all like completely quilted all through here. 100% quilt. I mean, there's that cool bar conclusion, but it's kind of taking a back seat here to all the all the quilt that's going on in this thing. Okay, what is it? Slab 4. Let's see what we got. I got Brad. That's what we got. Oh, I didn't know that went that far. Well, kind of like before, we got a little burl down here. That's that little piece that came off from over there. Little burl. There's a few little bits of quilt here and there up through the length here, but like it's very subdued quilt because it's there. You can see the little lumps, but they kind of fade to the background. This is cool. I don't even know what that is. That is sweet. And then we start getting into some kind of spalt and early decay kind of stuff up through here with more quilt kind of like everywhere like before. Up this whole side here is all quilt. A fun little burl. I think this is like a really old burl that just kind of got consumed by the tree or something, as it is got some spalt going on. And then this crazy bar conclusion with more quilt all the way around it. Look at all this. This is insane. So I know a lot of people like to think, or at least tell me, that they can let the log sit out like I did. This one's been sitting out in the sun for 2 years now, and it's like, it's dry, and as soon as you saw it, it's ready to go. So we got a moisture meter. We're gonna see how dry this freshly cut slab is. So hop up here, and we'll take a little look-see. So at the edge, where you would think it's the driest, we got the stress fractures from it drying. It's still maxing out my moisture meter, so it's reading 32. It doesn't read any higher than that, so this is definitely, I mean, that's saturated. It's still at the point of saturation. Let's see if we can find anything that's even gives us a reading along the edge here. It might be a while. Let's see, still 32. Oh, here we go. We got a spot. 30.5. So that's like just like right at that point of like full saturation, just below it. And of course you come out to the middle, we're back up at fully saturated. So this slab is nowhere near ready to work. It's nowhere near dry enough at all. There's so much moisture still in here. So that's the other thing. Oh, there's 26. The other thing that I hear quite a lot is like, you're throwing water on this thing, you're gonna warp it, you're gonna make it all wet again. This thing is so wet, even after sitting for 2 years, that little bit of moisture, it's not going to do anything because that thing is so full of moisture already. Now, let's see what this one's got going on. Looks like it's got a lot of cool colors. Yeah, I think I was right about that. There's a lot of cool colors, and yeah, there's a lot of figure in here. There's a lot of quilt. You couldn't see it before. This looked like it was gonna be completely boring, but all of this is all quilt. This zone here, and I love this. This is cool. It's bark inclusion, and all the figures surrounding it. This thing. And this down here is cool too, but it's just colorful cool. And you got all kinds of like early decay discoloration going on. And some like a little bit of banding of figure all the way through here. A little bit by comparison to that. It's a lot for most trees. all like light, small figure lines through here. And then up there is a lot bigger quilt. Let's do some like cleanup passes now. Still too much. Jeez. It's hard to plane wet wood. It just clogs. As you can see, as I've removed a little bit of the surface here, we're all the way through the wet part from me splashing it. So in reality, adding this moisture to the surface does nothing to the wood underneath the surface at all. It's still dry. Back to its, whatever it was, 32% or more. I want to see what this is going to look like. Look how cool that looks. Get after it, Matt. All right, let's see if it does anything. Oh yeah, definitely got some more clarity to it now, especially this thing. Just getting those saw marks out of the way really makes a difference. Wow. All right, before we get back to sawing, I wanted to see kind of where we're at as far as widths go. So down here at the butt, we're kind of necks in. That's 26-ish. And probably kind of around a little more in here. 29. This is 38. And then up here, we're at currently, down to here, I guess, 48 already. And we're only 5 slabs in. All right. And then for length, I think we're like around 10 feet. A little more, almost 11. 10 foot, I guess 10 foot 10 on a diagonal. Almost 11 feet. There we go. Yeah, this one kind of got some weird splotchiness kind of going on down here with this figure, but it looks kind of splotchy. And as we come up here, we got this like band right here. And we get back to whatever the heck this thing was. It's like, I'm not even going to tell you what I think that looks like. I think some of you know. I think we're kind of through all of the quilt now. And now we just have this like pre-rot discoloration white dot stain thing going on. There's a little bit, you can see just like a tiny little bit of quilt along the very edge here. And then we got, yeah, an old limb and a beautiful bark inclusion. And a little bit of this action right here. I don't know if I can get this whole thing. Oh! Hosted to the right. Amateur. This was kind of getting away from like crazy figure and getting more to like crazy color and grain. As we have the spalt lines, we got some deep, rich reds coming through both sides. I think we're kind of through. I don't see a whole lot of like. There's a little bit of figure down here from the buttress, but other than that, we got some bug holes here. It's not really a whole lot of figures. A little bit of banding right here, like micro figure or something, with a few kind of quilt bumps here and there. On that side, this side's pretty much all straight grain and colorful and pretty. This bark inclusion with this like grayish red color coming through here. That was incredible. I can't hold it straight. Oddly effective. Okay, this has got like a full bark inclusion in it. Little bonus splash for you there. So this is interesting because it's like just like a splash of figure in different pockets. There's all kinds of stuff going on here in the middle, but like on that side of the tree there's nothing going on except for the color shifts, which is awesome too. Then this whole situation here is absolutely insane. We have the big bark inclusion. We have the second bark inclusion because this limb over here further out split again into another pair of limbs. So there's crotch here and then the main crotch here too. So we got some crotch figure around this bark inclusion and then just like a standard boring bark inclusion, but the bark itself is beautiful. And we got some really interesting little bullseye things coming up there in the middle. I'm trying to see if there's any more little figure pockets anywhere. This is kind of weird. Like a little limb with some little bit of figure around it. Oh, here we go. Here's some figure. Figure lines there. What's going on down here? Nothing. Yeah, this one's just kind of a colorfully interesting slab. And what's really, you can see the transition here. I think this is the heartwood almost. This is all like the sapwood to heartwood transition. It's almost like a slab inlaid into like some edging slabs or something. It's like you could just take this thing out the middle and you wouldn't even know that there was like more wood to the outsides.
It's a turducken.
It's a turducken. It's a turducken slab. What was the third thing? The bark inclusion? The spalt is the third thing? I don't know. Slab in a slab in a slab? Okay, here we go. Oh boy. Okay, this is kind of like the other one, but like bigger, I feel like. And it's got more gray and weird stuff going on. Let's see, we got, there's some kind of weird figure streaks, like almost like pin knot streaks coming up through here in the middle. And we got a little bit of crotch figure here. Yeah, I think we're kind of through all the crazy figure. Now we just have like awesome color and pockets of weird little bits of figure here and there. This bark is so cool though. It is beautiful. And this thing, whatever the heck this thing, this is what I was excited about before. I forgot already. A pruning cut. And again, we got the turducken theme. A tree stuffed inside of another tree. Stuffed inside of something else. What do we got here? We got the 36, once we get past the buttress flare there. 37. 44. And then we kind of dip back in again, I think. 47. So they got a whole tabletop there in one piece. What were these, 11? Is that what we said? What did I say that was? 10 foot something? Call it 11? Yeah, 10 foot 10. So without any trimming cuts, so probably finish out at 10. That would make a beautiful table. I think today we're answering common questions. So one of the more common questions that I get over the years is, how much does a slab weigh? So we're gonna go weigh this thing, and then maybe someday when it's dry, we'll get a different number and see how much water weight there is. But at least for now, we'll know how heavy it is when it's wet and freshly sawn. So let's go to the barn and I'll throw this thing on my scale. $386. Is that a high score? Is that good? Did I win? There you go. 175 kg. 386 elbs. All right, let's see this guy. So this one, we're kind of like right up the side of the tree with the pith. And maybe I'm skilled, or maybe I just got lucky, but somehow I leveled this log out pretty darn perfectly because that pith line is perfectly in the center of the slab. So somehow I got that log on there oriented correctly, top to bottom, I guess. That was luck, I guess. This is cool though. Like, it's almost like a distressed area here around this bark inclusion where we'd normally see crotch. We see all this like weird color, and I don't even know what you even call this. Weird figurey woody stuff. And we got a little bit of burl right there, up there in burl land. Another little burl right there. Burl land at the top of the crotch. Got a crotch figure here. And here's an old limb that was probably pruned off because it was a pretty clean cut. I absolutely love these because you can see how the tree healed itself and encapsulated this cut limb, and they continue to grow over the years. You wouldn't even know that limb was there anymore because it's so far buried back. It's just cool to see the growth wings start to consume this thing and then just end up going right past it. And down here, kind of typical pith stuff. You have all of the little early limbs. So as the tree was growing up, these are all the small limbs it had as it was working its way towards the sky. But then the outsides, we got our kind of spalted and discolored stuff going on, and in the middle is maple. So this just gets really wild. I don't know what's going on there, but that's why I love wood. I can't explain how this is how it is. It just is. This is crazy. I love this. And down here is just it's just maple. There's a fun kind of burl pocket thing going on right there, and a few little bits of figure here and there, but otherwise it's kind of the same as all the other ones. Really fun and interesting colors and some fun spalt lines. This is just bananas. Let's see what's going on here. I can already tell there's some pretty awesome looking stuff. Holy crap. Oh my God. You gotta see this. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff today. This log just keeps giving us more surprises. Yeah, this is actually wood. This part of the tree, maybe like kind of like a burl formation. Yeah, that's like a little bit of a burl. Kind of clipped it, but then you got like all like the little roots and things of all the little things that have been growing in this valley in this tree. I just love how you get this exposed, like little bits of roots cut. You got some wood in here. You got all these kind of bark inclusions all the way down, and then like bam, you got this like almost like explosion thing down here at the bottom. And it's like, oh yeah, just fun red-ish looking maple down here. Business at the butt and party at the crotch. Okay, here we go with this one. I feel like, yeah, that's what I was expecting. It's gonna like, it looks like nothing until you hit it with the water, and then that shows up. Why do we splash water on these things? Because you can't really tell when they're dry like that what they're gonna look like when they're finished. The water just gives it all the life, makes it come alive. Look at that. From this like white boring blob of a slab, so look at all this figure up top of here. We got burl land, little baby burls all scattered through the top here. Whatever this crazy inclusion thing is up here, this might have been a little bit of crotch figure at some point that's just stained now. And I got some bullseyes and another pruning cut with some amazing figure around there. And look at the figure around this thing. That's all curl right up top there. Wow. Now down here is, I don't know what's going on here, because you got this diagonal band of grain with the spalts and like the early decay stain here with this like kind of cream color going like diagonal here, and then this whole side is just like boop, straight grain. So you got this diagonal going into like straight thing, and that continues like all the way up here. So the grain on this one is bizarre and just wild. I don't know how this happens. All right, so this last slab on here is the remainder. It's at 4 inches. I just left it at 4 because why not? Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. More crazy diagonal grain. Holy, look at this. Oh, we got the figure back. Oh, it got his figure back. Holy, that's all. I forgot how close this was from before. It's all back again. Like the center area here is all quilts. So it's like just this, there's, holy. That's like a starburst, sunburst kind of thing with like a burst of figure all the way around it. And you have all the quilt lumps on this side, which is just nuts. It's like spalting, you know, everywhere. And we found the tree's serial number. It's serial number 9705. Whatever that means. All right, another log all sliced up. This one, super freaking weird. I can't even describe like what's going on in there. And we have all the figure, and it's just an absolute weird one. And as always, if you're actually interested in one of the slabs yourself, you see something you like, you can always reserve them. They'll be ready at some point in the future, and they'll be probably around $12 a board foot. And to give you an idea, some of these middle ones through here are about 90 board feet. And some of you probably noticed some of the sweet shirts I've been wearing. If you're interested in the first one we're releasing, it's the Slab Master shirts. If you've been watching the Sawmill for all these years, you watched me build it, definitely check it out. It's a limited edition release. I'll leave you a link to that as well if you want to pick up a limited edition t-shirt. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the Sawmill or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking.